Hello and welcome. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. At least 30 bodies recovered after US Army chopper collides with a passenger plane over the frozen Potomac River in Washington, D.C. US President Trump says tragedy should have been prevented. All 8 hostages released in Gaza as part of the third round of first phase of the ceasefire deal with Israel. And India's IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav says the nation will have its own AI foundational model like ChatGPT and DeepSeek up and running in another 10 months. First up, an American Airlines flight collided in midair with a helicopter in Washington, D.C. on Thursday, with both crashing into the frozen Potomac River. The jet, which was coming from Wichita, Kansas, was carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members, and 3 U.S. Army soldiers were on board the military helicopter. About 300 emergency responders were put into rescue mode, with police divers and boats searching the frozen waters for survivors in windy, dark conditions. According to media reports, 30 mortal remains have been recovered so far, but there is no official update on the total number of casualties. Meanwhile, the Federal Aviation Administration has ordered the grounding of all planes at the Reagan National Airport. And US President Donald Trump has said in an official statement he had been briefed on the, within quotes, terrible accident and thanked emergency responders for their, again within quotes, incredible work. In a social media post, he said, and I quote, "The airplane was on a perfect and routine line of approach to the airport. The helicopter was going straight at the airplane for an extended period of time. It is a clear night and lights on the plane were blazing. Why didn't the helicopter go up or down or turn? Why didn't the control tower tell the helicopter what to do instead of asking it if they saw the plane? This is a bad situation that looks like it should have been prevented. Not good." And terming the incident as absolutely tragic, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the search and rescue efforts have been ongoing and an investigation has been launched immediately by the Army and Defense Department. And Chief Executive of American Airlines has expressed grief over the mishap.
I'd like to express our deep sorrow about these events. This is a difficult day for all of us at American Airlines, and our efforts now are focused entirely on the needs of our passengers, crew members, partners, first responders, along with their families and loved ones.
Now, Meta has agreed to pay President Donald Trump $25 million to settle a 2021 lawsuit he filed, claiming he was wrongfully censored by Facebook and Instagram after the U.S. Capitol riot. This is seen as a victory for Trump, as $22 million of the payment will go towards funding Trump's future presidential library. The remainder will cover legal fees and payments to other plaintiffs in the case. Meta, in the settlement, will not admit wrongdoing over the suspensions of Trump's accounts. Trump had widely been criticizing social media platforms for suspending his accounts after the 6th of January 2021 insurrection. Mark Zuckerberg has expressed support for Donald Trump during the run-up to the battle for the presidency that took place in 2024, and he's tweaked Meta's policies to lift restrictions on some content within the company's apps, which include Facebook, Instagram, Threads and WhatsApp. In December, ABC News agreed to pay a $15 million settlement payment to resolve a defamation lawsuit brought by Donald Trump, stemming from on-air comments about him made by a top anchor. Meanwhile, Meta Platforms forecasts first quarter revenue below Wall Street estimates. signaling its bets on pricey artificial intelligence-powered tools were struggling to attract additional digital ad dollars to its social media platforms. The company expected quarterly revenues between $39.5 to $41.8 billion US dollars, compared with analysts' average estimates of $41.72 billion USD. Now, as part of the third hostage prisoner swap between Israel and Hamas, one Israeli hostage has already been released today. Military observer Agam Berger was released at the Jabalia camp in Gaza, where she was handed over to the Red Cross. Another woman, who is a civilian, Abel Yehud, along with 8-year-old Gadi Moses, have also been released by now. Besides, five nationals are also now released into the custody of the Red Cross. In exchange for the Israeli hostages, 110 Palestinian prisoners are also being freed from Israeli jails. Now, their release is part of the third such exchange since the ceasefire that came into effect on the 19th of this month. 7 women have already been freed in exchange for more than 290 Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails. A fourth hostage release involving 3 male hostages is expected to take place on Saturday. The two sides are currently implementing the first 42-day phase of the agreement, which should see 33 hostages being freed. Now, U.S. Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Wednesday amid the Gaza ceasefire and a regional diplomatic push. The meeting comes before Netanyahu's visit to Washington, D.C. next week. The Israeli PM is the first foreign leader to be invited to the White House by U.S. President Donald Trump during his second term. Earlier, Witkoff visited Gaza on Wednesday. The U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East is in the region to oversee the implementation of the ceasefire deal. Now, the Democratic Republic of Congo is plunged into chaos as President Felix Tshisekedi has slammed the international community and its inaction on the escalating conflict in the eastern region. More in this report.
Democratic Republic of Congo President Felix Tshisekedi has slammed the international community's inaction on the escalating conflict in the eastern region, calling it a betrayal of the country. The conflict, fueled by alleged Rwanda-backed rebels, has ignited public outrage in Kinshasa, with protesters targeting foreign embassies. Tshisekedi warned of regional destabilization. While the international community has denounced the embassy attacks, Tshisekedi's plea for intervention remains ignored, leaving the region on edge. While an East African bloc urged an immediate ceasefire in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, M23 rebels who seized the city of Goma extended their advance on Wednesday. Congo said it planned a campaign to recover lost territory. DRC President Tshisekedi has vowed a robust military response.
Face à cette situation,
In the face of this situation, let me reassure you that a vigorous, coordinated response against these terrorists and their sponsors is underway. Our valiant armed forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo, symbols of courage and patriotism, are fully mobilized, ready to defend each inch of our territory.
pleinement mobilisés,
The conflict is largely driven by the region's vast mineral wealth, including cobalt, gold, and coltan. The eastern DRC is home to some of the world's richest mineral deposits, making it a coveted prize for armed groups and external powers. Meanwhile, nearly 300 foreign mercenaries hired by the DRC government surrendered to UN peacekeeping troops in Goma Wednesday night. The M23 armed group, allegedly backed by Rwanda, has seized 2 districts in South Kivu, eastern DRC, after capturing Goma in North Kivu. The advances have killed at least 17 people and have injured around 370, worsening the region's humanitarian crisis. Antara Sinha for DD India.
Now, India's Minister for Electronics and Information Technology, Ashwini Vaishnav, has said that India will have its own AI foundational model like ChatGPT and DeepSeek up and running in another 10 months. Addressing the media in New Delhi, the minister said that the major pillar of AI mission is to provide a series of applications for the benefit of the people.
we have created the framework which will be launched today. We are calling for proposals to develop our own foundational model where the Indian context, the Indian languages, the culture of our country, where the biases can be removed, where the data set is basically for our country, of our country, for our citizens. That process will start today. And we believe that there are at least 6 major developers who will be able to create foundational models in the next 8 to 10 months on the outer limit.
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar participated in an interactive program themed Youth for a Viksit Bharat with students at Delhi University's Hansraj College in New Delhi on Thursday. Addressing the participants, the minister said that the youth must think about their future. They must make decisions carefully, considering that as they are the future of the country.
I would give people today, as someone in politics, not very long in politics, but I would give one message, and I would give this as a citizen, that it is very important when that young people especially should take interest in politics, not necessarily as a profession, but when it comes to political decisions and political choice. What choice you make is your business, but it is important, and what you should do, you should keep your own future in mind. I think young people should always keep their own future in mind. People should ask themselves, actually, who is better for the country? Who is better for our prospects? Because at the end of the day, your personal prospects, your future and country's future is the same.
And still to come in this edition of DD India Live, the Indian government holds an all-party meet ahead of the budget session to ensure smooth functioning of Parliament. And the ongoing national games in Uttarakhand are showcasing top-tier sports facilities and modern infrastructure.
Timeless, boundless and infinite. The essence of faith, the soul of Sanatan culture, from the sacred confluence of Prayag, where divinity descends to earth. Witness the grandeur, the devotion, the magic, world's largest cultural and spiritual gathering, with over 450 million devotees expected to attend. Mahakumbh, India's greatest festival of faith. Exclusively on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will be presenting the Union Budget 2025 in the Indian Parliament on the 1st of February 2025. Let's take a look at some of the related stories. The Indian government on Thursday convened a meeting of floor leaders of all political parties ahead of the budget session of India's Parliament. The meeting was chaired by Union Ministers Rajnath Singh, Kiran Rijiju, JP Nadda, Arjun Ram Meghwal and L. Murugan. During the meeting, the government sought cooperation from all parties to ensure smooth functioning of the session. The budget session will begin on Friday with the address of the President to the joint sitting of the two houses. The Union Budget will be presented on the 1st of February. The first leg of the session will conclude on the 13th of the next month, and the second leg will continue from the 10th of March. Now, the agricultural sector is hopeful for reforms addressing crop pricing stability through advanced minimum support price mechanisms. Increased subsidies for fertilizers and expansion of irrigation projects are expected to mitigate input costs and enhance yield. Promoting agri-tech adoption, including precision farming tools and IoT-based solutions, could transform productivity as well as sustainability.
कृषि से हमारी जीडीपी करीबन आज की डेट में 18% है। आज भारत सरकार ने कृषि के लिए बहुत सी सब्सिडी की पॉलिसीज दी है, लेकिन उनका फायदा ज्यादातर बड़े किसान उठाते हैं। हमारे देश में 85% मार्जिनल फार्मर्स हैं और बजट से हम आशा करते हैं कि इस प्रकार के टैक्स घटाकर या तो 0% या ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 5% होने चाहिए।
Now, economic growth in the Eurozone has slowed to a halt in the fourth quarter, dragged by contractions in major economies such as France and Germany. That's what official data has shown on Thursday. Analysts at Bloomberg and FactSet had forecast the single currency area's economy to grow by 0.1% compared to the previous quarter. Annual growth for 2024 stood at 0.7% in the 20-nation zone. Now, the EU has finally unveiled a business-friendly plan after many complaints and queries from companies there. The EU Commission has a roadmap that will revamp the economic model and make it easier for businesses to thrive. There's also talk of reducing dependency and strengthening the industries at home. For more on this, we're joined by DW's Wada Imran from Berlin. Good evening to you from Delhi, Wada. What is this roadmap?
Thanks for having me. This roadmap, also called the Competitive Compass, is meant to be a sort of relief for companies here in Europe that have been subjected to tight controls and regulations in the last few years. There was a very heavy focus on green goals and stricter supply chain rules that had stunted the growth of many businesses. Now, this roadmap wants to loosen up some of these rules. This new EU plan wants to revise dozens of laws, let's say in the supply chain category, the corporate sustainability category, and chemical safety. There is clear acknowledgement that Europe has not been able to keep pace with the other major economies because of a gaping hole in productivity growth. One part of this roadmap is to encourage innovation, again, especially in AI, robotics, space technologies. I think this is also a kind of a wake-up call response because Europe has had very little innovation in the digital sector recently. Another part of this plan is to increase decarbonization and competitiveness, which I think sounds excellent on paper, but will perhaps prove to be hard when put to practice.
All right. And what are some of the biggest challenges that businesses are facing in Europe?
Well, the biggest complaint from businesses here is excessive regulation. Everything sort of trickles down to this aspect. Let me give you an example. Europe's car makers, some of the biggest names in the industry globally that struggled throughout 2024, I'm talking Volkswagen, Mercedes, the likes, they're all facing quite hefty fines in 2025 due to their emissions. And these heavy fines, coupled with supply chain bottlenecks, result in declining growth and declining motivation. This roadmap aims to fix this. Another is increasing the ability to acquire raw materials, which may even be available in Europe but cannot be mined due to environmental laws. So companies end up importing them, which increases costs. Now, the EU wants to facilitate mining so that these crucial materials are mined here locally. One big issue, which is often underrepresented or not spoken about as much, is the inability of startups here to obtain fundraising the same way as businesses in the US do. And so innovation or growth is also little. To battle this, EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen wants to create a European savings and investment unit. Let's see if that happens. But there is innovation in Europe, there just isn't enough funding to secure or foster it.
All right, Wada. But let's hope that the situation improves with the action plan that has been put in place. Thanks for joining us from Berlin. Now, on the occasion of the 77th death anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid his respects at Gandhi Smriti remembering the leader who championed Satyagraha and non-violence. On this day in 1948, the father of the nation was assassinated by Nathuram Godse. And since then, the 30th of January has been observed as Martyrs' Day, honouring his legacy of peace and truth. Let's now take a look at some other stories making the news today in the country. Well, the Joint Committee of Parliament submitted its report to Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla on Thursday. The chairperson of the 31-member panel, Jagdambika Pal, said that the committee adopted a draft report on the Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 on Wednesday. 29 Naxalites, including 7 women, surrendered in Narayanpur district in the Indian state of Chhattisgarh. This is a major success for state government's Naxal rehabilitation program, which provides financial assistance to resettle them in the mainstream of society. The Election Commission of India has asked former Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal to file a specific and pointed reply to its notice related to his allegations of poisoning the Yamuna River by Friday morning, failing which the Commission will take appropriate decision in the matter. And time now to get you some sporting updates as well. Well, the National Games in Uttarakhand are showcasing top-tier sports facilities. The modern stadiums and advanced training centres have been widely praised for their role in athlete development. The international standard basketball court has also received acclaim, with players highlighting its high-quality design. DD India's Narayan Singh brings us this report.
The ongoing National Games in Uttarakhand are showcasing an impressive transformation in sports infrastructure in the state. The state-of-the-art facilities equipped with the latest technology and world-class equipment have elevated the games to a new level. President of the Uttarakhand Rifle Association, Narayan Singh Rana, praised the top-tier facilities available to athletes.
This is golden opportunity for us, Uttarakhand state. You have allotted the National Games in 2018 and 2018 to 24, we are regularly working the civil work and everything, and now we are ready for any international event here. We have world-class facilities, world-class machines, world-class digital equipments.
The infrastructure in Uttarakhand is now at par with best in the country. From modern stadiums to advanced training centers, athletes have everything they need to excel. The facilities caters to a wide range of sports, ensuring that players can train and compete at their best. Among the highlights is the international standard basketball court, which has received special praise from basketball players.
Well, experience has been wonderful, and I mentioned, this is something we are not used to digital shot clocks, that too going on top of the board. So this is something buzzer going off, and none of the matches are being interrupted, even though 2 consecutive matches are going on. Refereeing has been spectacular, and the courts itself, we didn't feel the jolt you feel when you're playing in concrete courts. So this was something playing on a wooden court and giving your heart out was something which was natural to us. So it was fun. It was a once in a lifetime experience, and we had a whole lot of fun.
The National Games in Uttarakhand have set a new benchmark in sports infrastructure, offering athletes an environment where they can focus on reaching their full potential. With world-class amenities and cutting-edge equipment, the state is ready to nurture the next generation of sports stars.
These facts and figures clearly shows that the journey of the Uttarakhand sports is on upward trajectory, with world-class venues, with world-class stadiums, with world-class training facilities, with the world-class technology. The games are giving a feel of international event. This will definitely put Uttarakhand on India's sporting map. With camera person Manmohan, Narayan Singh, DD India, Dehradun.
And rifle shooters from Jammu and Kashmir are happy with the facilities at the National Games in Uttarakhand. In an exclusive chat with Narayan, they said the event is providing a valuable exposure to all the athletes.
The National Games has been started in Dehradun, and right now I am at the shooting range in Dehradun, which is of international standards, and I'm joined by the shooting team of the Jammu and Kashmir. First time Uttarakhand is hosting such a mega event. So how was your experience after participating here?
Uttarakhand is really doing a great job in hosting the national games for the first time. They have a really good environment and the facilities for the athletes. I must say it's a really good opportunity for us also.
Talking about the level of competition, it's a great platform to give exposure to the young athletes. So do you think it's a fantastic platform to provide an opportunity to the young shooters and young players?
Yes, I must say National Games is one of the toughest and most competitive matches we play. So if I talk about the selection criteria of shooting, so the National Rifle Association of India, they select the top 15 or 16 shooters from all over the India to compete in the games. So today also, if I mention, the scores were fantastic and it were equal to the records, world records.
If we talk about this national games, after 2015 in Kerala, it was revived after 7 years in Gujarat. Now it's a continuous feature in every calendar year. So how you look as a coach this coveted event?
It's a very big platform to shooters and young athletes. The continued national games are coming. My athletes participating in third time in this Uttarakhand national games. And I compare the previous platform. This platform is the best platform because the range standard is the ISS standard, and the environment and the accommodations are very good and very smooth conduct.
As athletes are saying and coaches are saying that it's a wonderful platform for the athletes to showcase their talent, and also Uttarakhand is hosting a wonderful games, and here a wonderful range is there, wonderful venues are there, a world-class infrastructure has been developed by the government. So we are hoping that this platform of national games will give wings to the dreams of these athletes. With camera person Manmohan, Narayan Singh, DD India, Dehradun.
And that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS, and you can download the app while scanning the QR code on the screen. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India. Timeless, boundless and infinite. The essence of faith. The soul of Sanatan culture. From the sacred confluence of Prayag, where divinity descends to earth. Witness the grandeur, the devotion, the magic. World's largest cultural and spiritual gathering, with over 450 million devotees expected to attend. Mahakumbh, India's greatest festival of faith. Exclusively on DD India.